I guess we'll get started. Any stragglers who are going to come will come and hopefully not miss too much of this talk. My name's Benjamin Booman. I'm the head of the Law and Brain student group here at Penn Law. I just want to quickly introduce what we do. We basically got started in order to give a forum and a place for anyone who's interested in issues of how law and neuroscience can interact, to get together, to come to events, talk about different journal articles, or come to talks like this one that we've set up here. We're always looking for new people who want to be part of our group and contribute. If you'd like to become part of our group, either find me after this talk or go to our website. It's on the Center for Neuroscience and Society's website under the Student Programs tab, and you can just contact me there. Before I hand it over to Professor Stephen Morris, I just wanted to say that probably one of the most important things that has allowed the Law and Brain Student Group to become what it is the support we've gotten from the Center for Neuroscience and Society. So I wanted to thank Professor Martha Farah and Joe Powers, who's in Japan right now. They've really supported us. Also, Penn Law, with its encouragement and support of cross-disciplinary groups in education. Without their support, the Law and Brain Student Group wouldn't be what it is, or anything maybe, that we are today. And finally, one of the first people that I spoke with was Professor Stephen Morris about this idea. He's been described as ground zero for a lot of these neurolaw issues, and I approached him very early on, and he gave me a lot of great advice that I followed, and by following it was able to recruit some people and create the group. So that all being said, come find me after, or come find us on the website, and I'd like to introduce Professor Stephen Morris.
Thanks very much, Ben. And that was just a great bit of student initiative. Professor Amy Wax of the law school also played a very fundamental role. We'd like to thank her, and especially Martha Farah, who has done such good work in bringing together all the various strands of work in neuroscience at the University of Pennsylvania and elsewhere. Martha, my congrats. My friend Hank Greely is the Dean F. and Kate Edelman Johnson Professor of Law and Professor of Genetics at Stanford. His scholarship and public service address ethical, legal, and social issues arising from advances in the biosciences and in health law and policy. Professor Greely chairs the California Advisory Committee on Human Stem Cell Research and the steering committee of the Stanford University Center for Biomedical Ethics, and he directs the Stanford Center for Law and the Biosciences. Professor Greely is also co-director of the Network on Legal Decision Making of the MacArthur Project on Law and Neuroscience. He is an eminent expert in the fields we are talking about. In 2006, he was elected a Fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, a signal honor. He will speak today about brain-directed treatment for antisocial behavior. Hank?
I always make you nervous when people clap before I said anything. Ah, of course. I should have known you'd think that. Before I get started, seriously started, I want to compliment Ben and Penn on this law school law and neuroscience group. I think this is a great idea. We are learning so much more about how the human brain functions. And compared to 30 years ago, we know infinitely more. Compared to 30 years from now, I think we know zero. It is unclear yet how this will affect law. I think right now we're in the exploratory phase. Some things people think will have a big effect. Some areas of law people think will be largely affected. I suspect won't be. Others we haven't even conceived of will be. But the one thing I'm sure about is as we understand more about how the brain works and how it leads to human behavior and human thoughts, it will have an effect on law. Law cares about behavior. If the brain teaches us more about human behavior, if neuroscience teaches us that, neuroscience will have an effect on law. And I think this kind of group at an early stage in your education, where I hope you're mixing, I hope you're a good interdisciplinary group and mixing well with neuroscientists and others, really is crucial to the formation of a cadre of people who are literate in both fields and will be able to pick up the torch from people like Stephen and carry it forward over the next decades as neuroscience has a greater impact on law. Stanford has something a little similar. We call it the Stanford Interdisciplinary Group on Neuroscience and Law, so we could call it SIGNAL. And one piece of advice I'd give you, we focus our meetings around beer and pizza. And that seems to work well both with the neuroscience folks and with the law people. So I congratulate you on getting this initiative going, and I hope it flourishes.